All right, we're back for video 2. Today I have my camera person is Samantha, and then we have a special guest, her friend Sarah. So Sarah's a subscriber on the new YouTube channel, which is the South Chicago Chef, and she wanted to come see it in person today. So if you remember, I made seafood cioppino a couple days ago, and I showed you as part of the seafood cioppino, my wife doesn't eat seafood, I actually showed you that on the side, the noodles that she was going to eat that night. And so we have those noodles left over today. So I'm going to show you how to make a super easy, I think I'm going to call it ghetto mac and cheese, because it's just a few ingredients, but it tastes delicious when it's over. So let's get it started and take a look at the ingredients. All right, so here are our ingredients. Let's start over here, actually. Right here I have a whole stick of butter. And again, if you watched the first video, you know I got that room temp butter. Whether it's has some type of a disease attached to it or not, I'm not sure, but I like that room temp soft butter. And then here we got a 1/4 cup of flour, just regular flour. I'm using King Arthur flour. You could get shit that's way cheaper than that, actually. That's like a $4 bag. I don't know why I bought that. I should have bought the cheaper shit, but I didn't. Sorry, Sam, I'm swearing. I shouldn't do that. Right here, we have 2 cups of Colby Jack cheese. Now you can use whatever ghetto-ass cheese you want in this. If you want to use cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, whatever. There's no rules when it comes to your mac and cheese. It's all gonna melt up anyways. It's just salty, kind of creamy texture, it doesn't matter. Right here, I have 2 cups of milk, and that's just whatever milk that I had in the fridge. I think we have 2% right now. I'm not really sure because I don't really drink milk, but that's what goes in the recipe. Of course, I got my salt and pepper out. Now, here's an important part. I read a couple recipes like easy mac and cheese. I've made mac and cheese before. It said 8 ounces of noodles. Now, if you're lazy like I am, that's more than 8 ounces of noodles. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I left the cheese and I left the flour out because I might need to add more of that later to the dish because this might not be enough. So even though your recipe says 8 ounces, I'm gonna make this whole bag, because if I didn't make the whole bag, I would have like 4 ounces of noodles left over, and then what would I do, throw them out? It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so now we got the ingredients. You kind of see that, again, you don't have a rule as to what this is. Use whatever cheese you want, use whatever milk you want, use whatever flour you want, use hard or soft butter, it doesn't matter. Let's get the process started. I got that same pan that I made that seafood cioppino in. I got that same pan out. It's Calphalon. I actually like this pan. So this recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of butter. I look at this and I go, that's about a 1/4 cup, in my opinion. So we're gonna melt this butter down. That pan's actually too hot already. So I'm gonna move that pan off to the side a little bit. So when that butter goes in there, if it immediately starts bubbling up real hard, you want to move that pan from the water, or from the heat. The reason why you want to do that is because this butter is going to get brown if it's too hot. And when the butter gets brown, you have a very small window as to when you can cook with it, right before it actually burns. Brown is okay, burn is not good. So the first step is just get that butter working in there. I'm going to leave this butter right here just in case I actually need more. And when I put the flour, so basically what we're doing here is we're building a roux. So this roux is going to be the reason why it's kind of thick and creamy. When we add the cheese to it, it's going to give it a good base of flavor. So I think this is pretty well. I could put it back on here. So now what I have to do is make sure, and when I went through the ingredients, I didn't tell you rubber spatula on this type of pan. So what I'm going to do is just kind of filter this flour in here, and then you got to stir this constantly. See how it already starts to clump up a little bit? I actually think I need to add more butter already. No, maybe not. Let's take a look. See how it just kind of clumps up? At this point, it would be very easy to just panic and be like, oh God, I messed it up. But it's actually not messed up. It maybe just needs a little bit more butter, so let's do that. I don't know, like some people will say like a thicker roux is better. I don't know, I kind of like a thinner roux, which is actually the exact opposite of the seafood cioppino, which I made a little thicker. If you go to my Twitter page, Cub Fan Nick on Twitter, I actually tweeted the dish out, the seafood cioppino dish out, to Robert Irvine from Food Network, and he responded, and he said, Yeah, it looks a little thick, but just make sure you keep on cooking. I was like, little bitch ass Robert Irvine. All right. Sorry, Mom. I swore again. I shouldn't be swearing. All right. So now this looks actually pretty good to me. Like if you look, kind of see how it's bubbling and it's kind of coming to the middle like that. That's actually what I'm looking for. So now you could do this again. Brown is good. So right now I would call it tan. This roux is tan right now. You can actually stir this until it gets a little browner, and it's just going to increase the depth of the flavor of the mac and cheese. So being that, I like a little more flavor, I think I'm going to kick the heat up just a little notch. Now, careful. When you kick this heat up, you can actually start burning it pretty quick, which is why I'm keeping the spatula in here, and I just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. All right, so we've stirred this for a few minutes now. Take a look. It's actually getting a lot browner. Let me get my shadow out of there. It's actually getting a lot browner than it was before. And this is right at about the time that I want it right now. So, yeah, that looks good. So if you were making a gumbo or something, this would actually be the base of gumbo, too. After you sauteed the Trinity and set it aside. My New Orleans people know what the Trinity is. This was actually the start of a roux. So to this roux for mac and cheese, we're going to add this milk. 2 cups of milk. I'm just going to add it in slowly, and we got to whisk it while we do that. I wasn't ready. And I'm left-handed, so I'm weird. So you'll start to see some of this clump up as you see. Look at. See how it's starting to clump up? That milk is interacting now. See how it's getting thick now? As I'm entering this milk, we want to make sure that we get all that stuff on the side. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm going to actually leave some of this milk out. I'm going to lower this heat a little bit so that I just don't start boiling things. So you can see some of this roux is clumped up in here. That's the reason why you want to get that whisk in there and get that whisk going. You got to get that whisk going. Sis, you see what I'm saying about the whisk? You got to get the whisk going. What do I got to do? Say it. Oh, come on. Just because you're a camera person doesn't mean you can't say it. You got to get the whisk going. All right, look how it's thickening it up. Look how it's thickening it up. Sarah's laughing. You're not laughing. See how it's thickening up now? We got to go in with the rest of that milk. Got to go in with the rest of that milk. Got to go in with the rest of that milk. All right. Let's get this off the sides. We don't leave anyone behind here. We leave no flavor behind. All right, let's take a look here. Now we got to just keep whisking it. Keep whisking it. Don't walk away from it. Keep whisking it. Maybe that should be my new YouTube channel name. Keep whisking it. No, I do like the South Chicago Chef. Do you like South Chicago Chef? Even though I live in Gilbert, Arizona. All right. See, look. That's a little thin right now. That's actually pretty good right there. So we're going to go way down on that. All right. Now I'm going to grab the cheese. We're going to whisk the cheese in there. So again, 2 cups of cheese. 2 cups of cheese. Let's get this in here. Let's get this in here. All right, and now we have to gauge. What we have to do is we have to gauge this. We have to look at this. Think about in your head, when you eat mac and cheese, how do you like to eat mac and cheese? Do you like it a little drier and crispy? Some of the noodles crispy? I'm gonna remove it from the heat just so I can keep stirring it. Do you like it like real juicy? Like a lot of this? Look at how nice. That's perfect right there. That's perfect. But what didn't we do? What didn't we do? What do we got to do, Sam? What do we got to do?
I don't know.
The thing that we didn't do is we didn't hit it with a little salt and a little pepper. Now, the cheese has I like a lot of pepper, so sorry. The cheese actually has a lot of salt content, so this is just more of a pinch. The cheese has a lot of salt in it. So, all right, let's keep whisking this. Now, this is the baseline for mac and cheese right here. So now, you got them leftover noodles. They're sitting in the fridge. They're usually good 5-6 days. Ours been in there for a couple days. Don't let them go to waste. I just used $1.50 worth of cheese, 10 cents worth of flour, 20 cents worth of butter. You could make mac and cheese for a family of 4, no problem. You really want to be a G? Add jalapenos, add green chilies, add lobster, add whatever you want to it. Don't say that you can't make homemade mac and cheese, because that's exactly how easy it is. Now watch. Let's go in. I'm going to go in with almost all of them just to see how I can incorporate it. Okay? Let's see. All right, stir this in. Stir it in. What do you think? How do you think that looks? You see it through the camera. What does it look like?
Delicious.
It looks delicious, doesn't it? All right. So let's do. Look at this. We got some mac and cheese hostages that are left in here. We must free the mac and cheese hostages. You can laugh. It's okay. Again, this is a real show for real people trying to make real stuff. So, all right. Sarah, you're going to be my taste tester. You ready? Let's get a knife out. Let's get a fork out.
Nice.
Sorry. Let's get a... It's not like I said potatoes instead of tomatoes like the last one. All right, go ahead. Blow on it a little bit. Make sure it's not too hot.
That's delicious.
Delicious?
Mm-hmm. It's super good.
All right, now watch. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. Back up a little bit, sis. We're going to go into this pan because we're going to go to a little party this afternoon and or tonight. And we're going to bring this to eat. Can you see that now? Look, just in this little pan, right? Look at that. Look. I actually left a few of the noodles out because where we're going, I don't know if the kids eat mac and cheese. So I did leave a few handfuls out. I forgot to mention that. So now, this is it. The finish to this, get a couple Ritz crackers, crust some goldfish on there, and when you're ready to serve it, throw it in the oven for 10-15 minutes, 250 to 350. Again, no rules, just depends on how much you want it to dry out. But for the second video of the South Chicago chef, this is ghetto ass mac and cheese. The end.
Don't bite the apple, Eve. Caught up in the in crowd. Now you're in style, and the winter gets cold.